How about somebody who's not a teenager? Justin Dillon, 24 years old, one of the elder statesmen on this roster.
The Californian has been outstanding this year, leads the team 5 goals. He is the guy to keep an eye on. He had a 5-game goal streak. That is broken. He's going to be looking to get back with the goal tonight.
Conversely, you take a look at Austin and one of the great veterans in Jermaine Taylor, what an impact he has made in his first year calling Austin home.
The strength of Austin has been the back line led by this man, the Jamaican international. 101 game with the Reggae Boys. Very good leader, leads by example, and Austin will need him to stand strong.
Bold and Defiance collide, opening kick when we come back here to the Lone Star State for USL Championship Soccer on a Saturday night.
Here are today's starters for Tacoma Defiance. Number 31, Nick Hines. Number 36, Denzo Ulysses. Number 37, Shandon Obiao. Number 38, Azriel Gonzalez. Number 71, Alex Earls. Number 72, Joel Weinstein. Number 84, Josh Intencio. Number 89, Jesse Daly. Number 98, Anthony Burke-Gilroy. Number 99, Justin Dillon. And goalkeeper, number 67, Jacob Krasker. Tacoma Defiance is led by head coach Chris Wood.
Austin born. Austin born. Austin born. Austin born. To live full means living a life of respect and love. Enjoy the beautiful game. Be yourself at all times. To live with passion.
Vivir como gol significa ser parte de una familia, disfrutar del juego y nunca rendirse.
No matter where you're from,
What you believe or how you identify.
everyone is welcome.
We don't bully or discriminate.
This is how we live bold.
Así es como vivimos bold. This is who is bold live.
This is how we live bold.
Fans, welcome to ready to drop bombs for Defiance. And you're asking bold FC! Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with the national anthem provided to us by Austin's own Nash Hernandez Orchestra. It's time to meet your Austin Bold starting 11. Introducing first, the captain, number 9, O Gladiador, Clever! Number 17, Sion McFarlane. Number 15, Amobi Okugo. Number 4, Jermaine Taylor. Number 12, Jamon Phillips. Number 8, Javi Baez. Number 27, Valery Salamonte. Number 11, Thomas Isaac. Goal, number 24, Diego Restrepo. Number 99, Andre Lima. And number 33, Sonny Guadalajara. Your Austin Bold are led by head coach Marcelo Serrano.
Tomorrow, your dad will be thrilled with a tie, but tonight, the Bold and the Defiance looking for the full 3 points with a victory here in the capital city. As we welcome you in, the Austin Bold Tacoma Defiance, first of 2 meetings this year. In fact, their second meeting will be in the regular season finale, as Austin Bold, by that point, will have hoped to lock up a playoff spot in their inaugural campaign. Take a look at the 10-team cutoff line. If the postseason started today, Bold would be the number 9 seed. Of course, a big 3 points today could quickly shoot them up the table in what is a jam-packed, great race here in the western half of the USL Championship. We welcome you into Austin Bold Stadium. Lincoln Rose along with Kit McConico. And Kit, Bold are back from their elimination in Houston after a valiant comeback against the Dynamo, coming up just short. They take on, again, one of the younger sides in the league in the Defiance out of Tacoma.
They do indeed. They'll be looking for 3 points tonight. They've been outstanding here at home at Bold Stadium, looking for a bounce-back victory as they get back to league play.
Let's take a look at your keys to the matchup. First up for the Squads from the Great Northwest.
Well, for the visitors, they're winless in the last 5, 0-2-3, looking to right the ship and hopefully get in the win column tonight. Defense, that has been an issue. They are worst in the Western Conference with a -30 goal differential. They need to be road warriors. We mentioned they are winless on the road this season, 0-7-1 away from Cheney Stadium.
Last time we saw the Bold in league competition, it was that draw here against Timbers 2. How do they come up with the full 3 points tonight?
The offense has been there for the Bold, but shots, they need to be on goal. Just 36% shooting accuracy this season. Pressure that Tacoma defense, that has been their Achilles heel. Keep them under pressure, keep shots on goal and quick passes. Sometimes the Bold spend a little too much time with the ball at their feet. Move quick, find the open man.
Well, when you take a look at some of the players to watch, how about somebody who's not a teenager? Justin Dillon, 24 years old, one of the elder statesmen on this roster.
The Californian has been outstanding this year, leads the team 5 goals. He is the guy to keep an eye on. He had a 5-game goal streak. That is broken. He's going to be looking to get back with the goal tonight.
Conversely, you take a look at Austin and one of the great veterans in Jermaine Taylor, what an impact he has made in his first year calling Austin home.
The strength of Austin has been the back line led by this man, the Jamaican international. 101 game with the Reggae Boys. Very good leader, leads by example, and Austin will need him to stand strong.
Bold and Defiance collide, opening kick when we come back here to the Lone Star State for USL Championship Soccer on a Saturday night. Line up, kick, Austin.
Fans, get on your feet and make some noise!
About to get underway, we take a look at your starting 11 for Chris Little and Tacoma Defiance. Just a couple of changes, including in goal. Second start of the year for Jacob Castro.
Castro gets the start. 2 changes. Rystran, the other new addition for the visitors.
And of course, for the Bold, it's a team now. They played last weekend. They played midweek in the U.S. Open Cup. You take a look at who they have available. Chris Tierpak, who was brilliant during a 2-half stretch, both in their last matchup against T2 and then more recently in the Cup action. Not available tonight. We'll get the evening off. Let's check in for the first time with Austin Ivan down on the pitch.
Thanks, Lincoln. This will be Austin's 3rd match in the past 8 days. So the question is, how are their legs? I talked to some of the players before the game. They said very confidently, we still feel very fresh. They said, hey, if we do get tired or need to come out, our bench has been strong all season long, so it's okay if we need to sub. The other key to the game, they said we want to start fast as they welcome in Tacoma, one of the bottom teams in the standings. They said it's important not to play down to the level of competition, but to play up to the standards they've been holding themselves to all season long, and that's what they're going to do today.
Austin, thank you very much. Of course, when she references Tacoma's place in the table kit, obviously there is a overall mission when you talk about the Sounders and with Tacoma Defiance, and that is trying to develop the next level of talent. It starts with the academy, it progresses through the Defiance, and then ultimately they hope it culminates with success in Major League Soccer.
There is indeed. You've seen that throughout the Sounders program, throughout that organization, and a lot of young talent coming out of the Evergreen State, all the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast in general. That is what it's about, getting those young players in the system, letting them develop.
McFarland will send in an opening look. Let's see if it wasn't sent out wide by Castro to set up a corner kick for Austin. And it'll simply be a goal kick coming up for Castro, who picks himself up.
Castro slow to his feet. The young man gets the start tonight. We'll see what he has. Austin looking to test him early. Mentioned the 2 changes for Austin. DeMar Phillips taking the place of Josue Soto Isaac Promise in for Chris Tierpak.
Castro, one of the few academy players who made the trip with Tacoma here to the capital city. Doesn't mean we won't have a few teenagers in the mix for the visiting squad tonight.
Castro, just his 2nd start of the season. You heard Austin say the Bold want to start quickly. They want to impose their will, their style of play. Conversely, for the Defiance, they want a chance to knock things around, find their footing. It's been difficult sledding, particularly on the road this season for the side from Tacoma.
Meanwhile, for Austin, they've been playing together well, obviously an inaugural side. First time for many of them to be teammates at the professional level. But now that they have their fitness together kit, they've been dangerous, so creative in the midfield and up top.
Oh, they have indeed. You talk about the pairing up top, the Brazilians, Kleber the Gladiator, Andre Lima. They played together in Brazil for the Giants of Porto Alegre, Grêmio, now back together in Austin. A lot of talent, but as you mentioned, for Austin, it was about getting these guys fit. They had some guys who hadn't played competitively in 2 years and finally starting to get to that full match fitness.
Defiance looking to bounce back from that loss at Colorado Springs. You see, of course, the man who has brought in all of the international ingredients, Marcelo Serrano, who has a side gig as well as the head coach of the U.S. Virgin Islands team.
And not a bad side gig, if that's what you want to call it. The former Brazilian U17 coach. A lot of experience. He's coached in the U.S. national youth system as well. But if you talk to these players, I spoke with Jermaine Taylor earlier this week, and I said, why are all these guys here in Austin playing USL Championship? And he said, quite simply, because of Coach Serrano. They want to play with him.
Really treats them like family. Serrano not even 40 years old yet. A lot of these players, his former peers. Again, Defiance trying to bounce back from that loss at Colorado Springs, 3-0, trying to strike here early on. It was Justin Dillon celebrating his birthday 1 week ago, turning 24 years young.
And Dillon, who'd scored in the previous 5 matches, unable to find the back of the net against Colorado Springs. He's going to be looking to get back on track. Certainly the leader offensively for Tacoma.
Able to pull that ball right back as they'll work it through the back line once more. A quick touch for Joel Rydstrand.
This is what Tacoma wants to do, settle things down, get everyone a touch. No reason to get into Austin's style. Austin, a team that likes to starve their opponents of possession.
Hines with his eyes up the pitch, looking for a run. Hines, former Akron Zip. And they'll look for a gamble. Flag stays down, opportunity, and now it'll come up a tad belated. But Dylan ultimately offside.
Just a bit offside. That flag raised late. You take a look at Austin's man between the sticks, the 2017 USL Championship goalkeeper of the year, Diego Restrepo, has been outstanding for Austin. 4 clean sheets, 31 saves, a luxury to have a goalkeeper like that. And also the man on the bench on loan from Atlético Nacional, Juan David Ramirez, very impressive as a backup.
Even with his success, I know they would agree there's still room for improvement. There have been some head scratchers on some of the early goals conceded to opposition this last month.
I think a lot of that due to miscommunication. As good as the back line is, just talented, talking about guys like McFarland, Okugo, Taylor. Now that Austin is elected to play 3 across the back as opposed to 4, which is where they had for the first 2 months of the season, it's a bit more difficult and everyone has to be on the same page. There can't be any lapses.
Gonzalez in the midfield, matched up with Sarah Mooten from Austin.
Austin kind of in this 3-5-2, so to speak. Defiance more of a 4-1-2-3.
From the wing, cross sent in, looking for Dylan. Spills loose, Restrepo tiptoes and stays within the 18.
And Restrepo fortunate to be able to get to that one. A rare ball into the box that he did not come up with cleanly. And at this level, if you allow a rebound in that dangerous area, it may well find the back of the net, but Restrepo able to keep himself inside the 18.
Doing everything he can to keep that ball off the forehead of the 6'3" striker in Dylan.
And you already see Dylan, the man that they are going to be targeting early and often.
Matthew Thompson leads our crew tonight with Kevin Locke, Francisco Bermudez. Again, the Bold saw their first ever U.S. Open Cup run come to an end this week as they ventured over to Houston to take on the Dynamo for the first ever meeting.
An impressive U.S. Open Cup run from the Bold. They were looking to do what no Austin team had ever done in history and advance past the 4th round. Ultimately couldn't get by the defending champion Dynamo down in Houston. Houston got up early. Austin battled back. Dynamo coming away with that 3-2 victory.
It started 3-0 before the Bold captured the last 2 scores. I don't think there were any ho-hum goals in that matchup when it was all said and done.
No, the Dynamo coach, Wilmer Cabrera, he was not pleased with his side, particularly their performance in the second half, as Austin was just a goal away from getting back into it.
And of course, there is your first-year head coach, Chris Little, very familiar with the Sounders system, led that U17 Academy side to the 2018 National Championship in the U.S. Soccer Development Academy level. Of course, also led that same talented group to the Generation Adidas Cup. Some of those players have now carried over to this Defiance squad.
He knows the players, he knows the system. That's what you want. You mentioned it earlier. Obviously, they want every team in the Sounder system to be successful, from down in the DA, U10, U15 teams, up through the Defiance, and obviously the Sounders. But the number one goal, as everyone knows, is to have that side playing in Seattle compete for an MLS title.
By the end of last season, once then S2 was out of the postseason push, they still had the goal of finding a road victory. Finally found their only road win at Tulsa in the season finale. Looking for a road win here tonight. Bold still on it, trying to send it along the pitch. Ultimately will be sent out wide. It will be a set piece coming up for Austin.
Good work from Austin, looking dangerous. Able to send that ball to the top of the 6. Austin has won the corner. Can they strike first?
Sonny Guadarrama will send it in. Takes a hop through, a miscue from Tacoma. And Austin will get another corner.
And very fortunate Austin didn't find the opener.
Let's hear it, fans. It's an Austin Bold corner kick!
Tony Guadarrama from right here in Austin, playing for his hometown club now. He's been a spark, both putting a ball in the back of the net as well as dialing up some teammates with creativity this year. And I know when it comes to community visits, he's one of the popular requests to have visit the classroom.
He's really the face of this team for the local population. I saw him before the match. He was getting his allotted tickets ready. I said, Sonny, how many tickets do you have for tonight's match? He said 100. 100 tickets. That is just incredible. Gives you the ideas of the ties he has here to his hometown.
Opportunity here. Ball sent on to Isaac. But Castro able to scoop it up again. Jacob Castro, one of 4 men who have minded the net this year for Tacoma. It's primarily been Trey Muse's goal this year on loan from Seattle, but of course they've had some nicks and bruises.
Muse, the goalkeeper, on the substitutes bench for the Defiance. Castro gets the start between the sticks. The young man faced a few shots, but nothing out of the ordinary early.
And Nick Hines playing in his 12th match of this campaign, Florida native. Mentioned played his college ball for Akron in Ohio.
Where'd you kick it to? Because that's nowhere. Nowhere.
DeMar Phillips. That ball can get lost in the sun this time of day. You see again the unique setting as that sun retires on this Saturday evening. No play on. Defiance looking for an opener. They've played from behind so often this year. Trying to rectify that here tonight.
And the longer Tacoma keeps this scoreless, the more confidence they're going to have.
You had no body.
Oh, a touch heavy. As it'll be recovered by, again, Jermaine Taylor.
Austin fans have seen their offense really come into form the last few matches. The men up front finally on the same page, with Guadarrama behind, pulling the strings of that trio up top.
Lima with a touch of the midfield stripe. They'd love to see him down the pitch. Such a physical player, but a graceful one at the same time. Isaac out wide. McFarland. And a nice quick step from Hines to recover this one for Tacoma. It lands at the feet of Dylan. Opportunistic here, Daly. Daly down the middle of the pitch. As ultimately Taylor makes sure that his keeper never has to intervene.
Austin not as crisp early in this match as you would anticipate. Maybe a hangover from that loss on Tuesday. Austin Ivan mentioned early, this is their 3rd match in 8 days. Heavy legs from the Bold.
Beautiful Bold Stadium here, nestled into turn 15 in the Circuit of the Americas, the F1 track here in North America. Isaac sends one in. But Castro's line makes no mistake that time around. Lima will send one off a defender. It takes a turn to the right, but into the arms of Castro.
Andre Lima, not the guy you necessarily want as the distributor. You want him to be the target man inside the box. He can hold 1-2 defenders on his back. Great with his back to goal.
The 33-year-old striker from Rio de Janeiro, a 2-time champ in his home country with Sao Paulo and Fluminense.
Yeah, he's played for the Giants of Brazilian football. An incredible resume. Just one of many on this Bold roster.
Guadarrama with Baez. Javi opened up his account recently this past month. And simply a toss coming up for the Bold.
Austin doing a better job getting it to the wide areas, using their speed.
Chipped in, looking for Isaac. Flicked on header, could not have been much better. But Castro, no problem.
The Nigerian likes that ball. Generally not a huge aerial threat. The man who won a silver medal with Nigeria in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Good to see him getting involved.
Had a goal at the expense of certain men in the red, white, and blue. That was 11 years ago. Some of these Defiance players were likely watching SpongeBob instead of the Olympic Games.
And that was one of the questions for Austin, and it was very obvious, bringing in guys in their mid-30s, how much would they have left in the tank? They've proven there's a lot still there.
Pokemon might be a more recent reference. Defiance has had opportunities here early on. And of course, glass half full. They have kept Austin off the board. Austin will be without their super sub, local product Chris Tierpak tonight. After he had a hat trick a couple weeks ago, followed up by another goal in the Cup.
Austin does have 2 new additions on the substitutes bench, both on loan from FC Dallas, Imachumasi and Francis Atua Hini. The boys from Ghana, second year with FC Dallas, being loaned here to the Bowl, trying to get some more playing time.
Those 2 men have been tied at the hip for so much of their career. You talk about coming from Ghana where they played together. Then they would go on to be drafted both in the first round by FC Dallas, subsequently both on loan last year with Oklahoma City Energy, and here they are together with the Bull. I'm guessing I can guess who their travel roommates are. Restrepo. Restrepo with an interesting tie with one of the assistants for Tacoma, Josh Ford, former goalkeeper in his own right. Lima looking for the opening opportunity, steps back inside, and the left boot will ultimately be sent wide and no damage done. We are still scoreless.
What a play from the big Brazilian. You mentioned getting to full match fitness, slams on the brakes. The defender, Hines, slides right by. And those questioning if Lima and his fellow 30-somethings still have it, I think the answer is an emphatic yes.
And Josh Ford, goalkeeper coach now for Tacoma this year, in his first year with the Defiance side. But recently was in goal for San Antonio FC in their inaugural campaign. His entry would open the door for Matt Cardoni, and then of course the next season they would sign a Diego Restrepo. An injury would open the way for Diego to go on to be your goalkeeper of the year that year in this league. Josh ultimately calling it a career, taking the next step on the bench.
That's wrong.
An offside flag is up.
Right now you see Dylan on an island up top. No white jerseys there in support. And Tacoma has to remedy that. As talented as he is, he can't do it alone.
We remind you that Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship in many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, you can visit selectsportamerica.com. Lincoln Rose, Kip McConical with you. Austin Ivan down on the pitch. As the Bold and Tacoma, we mentioned this at the top of the broadcast, meet for the first 2 times this year. They are scheduled to play in the regular season finale, October 19th. Both of them hoping to be playing beyond that point in time.
Austin has looked vulnerable against teams with speed, particularly at the wing.
This time, the Bold from the wing, looking for promise. Steps around Castro, but able to pick up his friend. Burkholz comes through to save the day.
Burkholz, Johnny on the spot, sends that one out of danger and had to. Good ball in to Promise Isaac.
Burkholz drafted in his past super draft by the Sounders and keeps us scoreless still. A rare touch from Kleber.
I have not seen much from the Gladiator. He was the man early this season, the offensive threat for Austin, but Andre Lima has found his fitness and maybe taking over that mantle as the goal scorer.
Hopial sends it out wide. Shandon Hopial, his 3rd year with Tacoma. Gonzalez sets up his right boot Got plenty behind it, but Restrepo waiting.
And why not? Good opportunity there. The lane opens up, ball outside the box. Gonzalez has a take, able to put it on frame. The one thing, he put it right into the gloves of Diego Restrepo.
Azriel Gonzalez from Las Vegas, one of a handful of Defiance players signed to short-term contracts prior to this week's matchup with the Timbers in the U.S. Open Cup.
6 of those Defiance players going up to play for the Sounders, ultimately unable to get by the Timbers, their rivals in U.S. Open Cup play.
Yeah, one of the classic battles, obviously, at the top level. What a chance to make a debut.
Yeah, you talk about rivalries in Major League Soccer, and that is the premier one.
Come on!
Emerald City versus the Rose City.
McFarland looking for a little tap and go. Back to Sion.
Not seen much from Sion McFarland, the young Jamaican right back. Generally pushes forward to start that offense for the Bold.
Promise Isaac, limited start of the season with a hamstring, but has been a welcome addition into this everyday lineup now for Coach Serrano.
And Austin needs more off-ball movement right now. The men in black and teal just watching the man with the ball with his boots, hoping he's going to make something happen.
Best opportunity to date in this match probably belongs to Promise. When he was one-on-one with Castro, Jacob able to do enough to slow things down and buy time for Burkholz to come through with a stop. You talk about that speed. Burt Gilroy, 21-year-old.
That's exactly what Tacoma needs. Burt Gilroy had the opportunity. You saw his speed, able to blow by 2 Austin defenders, but no white shirts there in support. They need to bring numbers quicker up the pitch. Had they been able to do so, may well have had a counterattack chance.
Jermaine Taylor has ways of countering speed.
He has ways of countering just about everything.
They'll swap insurance later. Back to Hines. Over 20 minutes in between Austin and Tacoma. Still looking for that opening strike to find the back of the net. Mentioned Austin coming off a 2-2 draw before that. A 3-2 victory at Tulsa.
That 2-2 draw with Timbers 2, a match Austin feels they should have won. They were here at home, up 2-0 late in the first half. Timbers 2 able to put one in, cut it to 1 at the break.
Right-footed delivery off the crossbar as it intervenes and shuts down Gonzalez.
Beautiful strike, and the only thing that kept it out of the back of the net was the woodwork. Austin needs to be careful defensively. They have to close out quicker.
Azriel Gonzalez has a legit beef with the woodwork, as Restrepo will be able to get a handle on this one. Oh, how close was this to being 1-0 for the visiting Sun?
Oh, beautiful cutback across the body. Gonzalez, the second time we've seen him from outside the 18 take a shot, and that time almost able to put his side ahead.
Counter from Austin. Isaac centers. That is a familiar look, well scouted by Tacoma.
That's what Austin likes to do, get it to the white area, send it into the top of the box to a man lurking.
Flag is up. Offside. Azriel Gonzalez so close to making this 1-0 for Tacoma. Young man turned 18 last month.
Incredible, the young talent here. The U.S. trying to become a power in world football, and it's going to be through the young guns. But for Austin, keeping those numbers in the box is what they like to do defensively, stay compact. The Defiance saying, well, if you're going to stay inside the 18, we'll shoot from outside.
Off the chest of Kleber. Again, back to Dillon. Ball at his feet. Now rocket. Almost tickles the drum of the samba.
Another opportunity where Austin not closing down quickly enough. You can see the confidence starting to build from the visitors. They've had good chances in these last few minutes.
Nice job matching up with Lima there by Josh Atencio, the second-year midfielder. Out of Bellevue, home of our favorite Vikings of Western Washington University.
One of the powerhouses of Washington State High School athletics as well.
Were you invited to his 17th birthday back in January?
I think that was just you who got the invitation.
Poor kid's missing his prom. Restrepo out for a stroll. Okugo, the captain. Tacoma with so many positives already tonight to build upon. Just trying to find that lead.
And conversely for Austin, I mentioned it early, not as crisp as we're used to seeing them. That combination between the midfield and the forwards, just not there. They're a bit off for whatever reason.
Tacoma's in the midst of this road swing that'll take them all the way into mid-July. Of course, you share a ballpark with a AAA baseball team. The availability can be limited at times in the summer. And for a second time, intervening right in time is Burkholz. Otherwise, you have Lima perhaps pouncing on the back post.
Burkholz has done a good job in the center of that defense. Read this one well. Lima was lurking, hoping it would get by number 71.
Burkholz just wrapped up his career at San Diego State. Guadarrama. And a foul in the box against Lima. And he'll need to be careful. One more caution, and he will have a suspension coming up due to accumulation on the season.
He's a big physical player, and sometimes that is to his detriment. Hines coming up worse for wear in that duel.
Again, Jacob Castro gets the starting nod tonight between the posts by manager Chris Little. Such a great venue to watch soccer here at the home of the Bold. Mentioned the unique setting right on the perimeter of a Formula One racetrack.
Beautiful stadium, the shaded seating over on the far side, the beer garden in the corner. Fans always treated to a good match.
That beer garden within earshot, coincidentally, of the visiting keeper here in the opening half.
I think that was by design.
Well, the two other Texas sides scoreless so far. You saw El Paso early in the first half against Tulsa. You see RGV also in action. Now, RGV, much like Tacoma, unable to participate in the U.S. Open Cup due to their unique affiliation with the Major League Soccer sides. That does mean that their rosters are available, if desired, for the MLS sides. We saw that again with Seattle this week. McFarland sends one in, but again, no mistake by that back line for Tacoma.
Off-ball movement continues to be lacking for Austin. The men in black and teal, just too much waiting and watching.
Well, I think Jermaine Taylor initially was going to get away unscathed, but requesting a continued conversation is Mr. Thompson after a little dissent.
Are you watching the game, ref?
Veteran Jamaican center back. He's the man who leads that back line. A lot of talent. He said he really takes that role to heart, being the veteran leader, helping these young players. He said now that he's in the latter stages of his career, his goal is to really get them to fulfill their promise and be the best players they can be.
And Taylor, who's seen time with the Jamaican national team, promised Isaac with the Nigerian national team. To the Bold's benefit, both have green cards here in the United States, so no burden on your roster. Kleber just trying to get involved any way he can here in this first half.
Brazilian forward seen the ball less than a handful of times, and Austin needs to figure out a way to fix that.
Clever, quick touch, and there's that man Burkholz again.
Burkholz manning the back line, doing everything, and right now he is marking up man for man with Andre Lima, doing very well. Just about half an hour in, the Defiance have to be extremely pleased with the way this match is shaping up. You can argue they've had the better opportunities, they haven't had the possession, but Austin has only looked dangerous in a handful of occasions.
They're going to bring a tape measure at halftime and make sure that that crossbar over the head of Restrepo isn't a few inches low.
And that's the difference. That shot that Gonzalez ripped off the top of the bar absolutely shook the foundation of Restrepo's goal.
Talk about those clean sheets from Restrepo, but the last one was back at the end of April. They had such a great start, but as Austin started to find more goals, they also started to concede more goals.
And that's because Austin has elected to play with 3 up top. That means they're going to have 3 at the back, and that opens holes.
We are going to have a hydration break due to the temperatures that have been in the mid-90s here in Austin, and even with the sun setting, you can still feel it.
And this may actually be to the benefit of Austin, even though they're the home team, and you would think a bit more used to this heat as opposed to the side from the Pacific Northwest. Austin could really use this time to talk things over, get on the same page.
Marcelo Serrano, again, so much soccer knowledge, has all these veterans, and it really has become a family culture.
It has, and one thing he always tells me when I speak with him on Monday nights, that he wants a team that represents this city. We talk about the local products like Sonny Guadarrama, Chris Tierpak, the international players. It's a great mix.
This will give us a chance to check back in with Austin down on the pitch.
Lincoln, we talked earlier about Austin having a busy week, but when they weren't playing this week, they weren't resting. Instead, they were hosting a 3-day soccer camp for kids with Down syndrome, and leading the way was Sonny Guadarrama, an Austin native. He said he was so excited to help with this camp because he loved seeing the kids' faces after they scored a goal. He said they just lit up and started celebrating, and that's why he loves playing soccer. And he said, honestly, I was supposed to be teaching these kids out there, but I think I gained more out of this experience, getting to see the kids being so inspiring and positive throughout the whole camp. And the Austin Bold loves that soccer can bring everyone together. So today they were raising concession stand prices just a little bit, rounding them up, and all the proceeds go to Down syndrome awareness in Central Texas.
Austin, thank you very much. Again, that was midweek, so no days off for Sonny Guadarrama. For Sonny, when he holds a Sharpie, it's not a Sharpie, it's an hourglass. Because the moment he starts signing autographs, it is not going to stop until that thing has run out of ink.
Well, he signs every autograph asked of him, and I give him credit. There are matches where he is exhausted, matches that Austin may not come up on the right side of the scoreboard, but he is out there signing each and every autograph, taking pictures with these young men and young women, a fantastic ambassador of this team and of this city.
Played his club ball for the Austin Flyers, the Austin Capitals. Last time we saw him suited up in the capital city, early this millennium, for the Austin Lightning of the PDL. Within 10 years in Mexico, we saw him reemerge in the Lone Star State in San Antonio with San Antonio FC. And with the arrival of the Bold this year, obviously a natural fit.
And that's always been his dream. I spoke with him a few years ago when he finished up his career down in Mexico, played for Santos Laguna, Dorados of Sinaloa, and he said, my goal has always been to play professionally for my home team. And when this team came into existence, he jumped at the opportunity.
After the hydration break, again scoreless, 33 minutes in here in the opening half. Able to turn, correcting course, Atencio. Again, he too among the players who signed that short-term contract prior to the U.S. Open Cup. You talk about Atencio, I mean, he is the story of all the Seattle youth systems. 100+ matches representing the green at various levels. McFarland. What does Sion have in mind? Sends one into traffic. But Defiance now regularly the first man to the ball.
And a good ball from McFarland. The next opportunity, optimistic at best, well off target. McFarland, who was not involved offensively early on, good to see him getting more touches. He has the speed, has the pace to press forward and make things happen along that right touch line.
Again, such a dangerous target in Justin Dillon at 6'3". 5 goals to lead this club this year. This one settles, but that buys time for the Bold. But a free kick coming up here just outside the 18. Quality opportunity coming up for Tacoma to take the opening advantage here in the first half.
Well won by Hopi Al. Doing a good job, able to elude the first tackle, settled it nicely. Austin fans wanted a handball. You see Taylor with the arm raised. And Guadarrama, the man who commits the foul.
Those fingers of Guadarrama can curl, I believe, 50 pounds. As he gets called for tugging him down. That's per finger. Inside the final 10 minutes of the opening half. Joel Ryan-Strand, again drafted this past offseason in the Super Draft. 4 years at Creighton when he was your Big East Midfielder of the Year. As the Swede, nearly sensational, but even better, the man in goal, Diego Restrepo. It'll be, however, a corner kick coming up. Austin not yet in the clear.
Beautiful strike from Ryan-Strand. Put it exactly where he wanted to, looking for that upper 90 to the near post. Bent around the wall, and Restrepo, the big right paw to it to send it out.
I wouldn't tell that young man to do anything different on his next similar free kick. Driving force, headed home. Tacoma strikes first, and no surprise for a 6th time this campaign already. Justin Dillon able to send it home.
And you knew it was just a matter of time before the Rancho Santa Margarita native found his place in this match. A great body, so dangerous in set-piece situations. He was at the near post, able to keep his defender on his back. A flick of the head gives the Defiance the lead. You take another look. Great service in Austin. Miscommunication defensively. Don't know if it was Lima's man or Okugo. The result the same. Tacoma strikes first.
This is after it took a brilliant stop from Restrepo to shut down Ryan-Strand. But moments later, Tacoma came knocking again, and it was the towering striker with the header, Dillon.
And for Tacoma, who has not won on the road this season, they just hung around. They continued to play. They got their way more and more into the match with more possession and rewarded with the opening goal.
How will this change things, or will it simply open up the scoring on both sides? Can't imagine we could see any more of a back and forth matchup from inline to inline than we've already seen.
You would imagine this will somehow strike even a greater sense of urgency in the Austin side.
Again, your first-year manager takes his instructions from Seattle. There are games within games when you're a side like Tacoma. Maybe break it down 10 minutes at a time, wanting to see certain things from each of these players as they progress.
And that's exactly right. That's what you do. You're on the road in a match like this. You say, look, let's get through the first 10 minutes. Let's keep it scoreless. 10 minutes after that, maybe get a bit more possession, try to get up the pitch, get some opportunities. And that's what they did. They had more shots on goal. The one that came off the crossbar, huge save on the set piece from Restrepo. And ultimately, the Defiance find the opener.
Last year, a total of 1 win, 2 draws away from home. This year, sitting on 1 point on the road this year. 7 defeats, and that 1 draw that came against Los Dos at the end of last month.
And Austin is quite simply just going to have to pick it up. We need to see more energy from the home team. They've had spurts. They've looked good in 5-minute segments, but not the concerted effort we're used to seeing from the Bold.
Justin Dillon's header off the corner kick from Ride Stranger. Difference right now. A match that easily could be 3-0 if a few more things go the way of Tacoma here in the opening half.
And you know the Austin coaching staff cognizant of that fact that they may well be lucky to just be trailing 1-0. Few opportunities for Austin. The better chances have definitely been for the Defiance.
We heard Austin Ivan report, team not concerned, talking about Austin Bold in terms of fatigue of having played midweek against MLS side Houston. And prior to that, again, the draw against Timbers 2. Five minutes remaining here in this opening half.
I'd like to see Austin find an extra gear, maybe finish on a high note. Anticipate them working really hard in this final 5 minutes of the half to find the equalizer.
As they'll bring things back to the midfield.
Frustration from the Austin forwards, plain to see, certainly for Andre Lima and Kleber.
Hines looking up pitch. Dangerous cross right through the 6, but nobody ready to play with him.
You see the speed advantage for Tacoma. Great ball played down the touchline. Hines shows off his wheels, able to get there. And a good ball across the face of goal.
Jesse Daly able to rein it back. They'll regroup through the back line. No urgency now here for Tacoma. Looking for the brace. Gonzalez equally dangerous. Baez. Out wide to Sony. And just well played by Hines with the tackle.
Hines has been all over the pitch, up and back. Great work rate.
Again, a busy night. El Paso, Los Locos get on the board first. Can Austin find one here in the 43rd minute? And a rare occasion where Tacoma does not get ahead on it first, but untouched afterwards, and it'll simply be a goal kick.
Good ball in from Sonny G. Looks like Promise Isaac. No, that one came off Andre Lima. Just couldn't redirect it on frame. Isaac was close to it, but couldn't find the rebound.
Again, Castro, I believe the only academy player who traveled with Tacoma. Baez able to hold up Gonzalez and win it back for the Bold. Okugo.
Wide open. Dude, say something to them, man.
Sarah Mooten finally to McFarland, who's been sitting on an island. Sion sends one in.
I'd like to see Austin play that ball quicker to McFarland. He was wide open for a good 5 seconds before the ball finally found him.
Austin's been at their finest this year, sometimes with quick touches. Just a glance off the boot can go a long way. Back post looking for Sonny, just off the mark.
The ball always moves faster than the fastest player, and Austin looking their best when McFarland is sending balls into the box. Austin so far not been able to get on the end of any, and certainly have not been able to trouble Castro into making a save since early going.
3 assists this year for McFarland after that championship last year with Miami FC when he teamed up with Chris Tierpak and head coach Paul Dalglish. Don't expect a lot of stoppage time. Likely the final opportunity to pull this one level, as there are again 3 minutes.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time in the first half.
Down the middle. Guadarrama just enough on it. Out to McFarland. Oh, Lima was looking for Sarah Mooten. Baez tries to clean it up. Austin wants a handball, but nothing intentional, they'll say.
McFarland has the opportunity to run at defenders, has great pace, instead just content to serve balls into the box. Like to see him have a go.
I think I got double fisted that ball down like
And flag up, offside.
Back line, very well organized. We've already seen what Berkholz has been able to do. He's keeping those guys together as a unit.
And Andre Lima, 4 goals this year. And you take a look at the young man who's been so busy, and Nick Hines.
Good to see Hines back on his feet. You can argue he's been the most influential player for Tacoma here in the first half. Up and back, box to box, great pace. Exciting player to watch.
You know, they love him as a left back, but he's a guy who, especially last year, most of his starts came in the midfield on the outside. Which language do you think Marcelo is going with there when talking to Ryan Thompson? Pardon me, to Matthew Thompson.
Hey, that was a penalty. And see, he keeps giving them this junk right here. You don't know. Oh my God, ref! They took too long. He should have whistled them the other way. Holding the ball like that.
Well, for Austin, worst case scenario needs to be you're down by 1 goal. But Tacoma would love to pounce in the closing moments. Find some insurance.
Austin, a team that's used to being the aggressor, really forcing their opponent to play their style. They like to have possession of their opponent's end. But this first half, it's been Tacoma on the front foot, and Austin trying to find anything.
Guadarrama sends in a potential equalizer cross, instead a collision. As Castro came out to punch it wide, and it may have been a knockout blow.
Now that should get you kicked out of the game. I'm sorry, man. You're not going to call that? Get him, trainer!
Promise will come in. Temple to temple.
Both looking to make a play, both eyes only for the ball. Neither saw the other. Castro, Promise Isaac Both down on the pitch being attended to. You take another look. Guadarrama sends this one to a great area. Castro, 2 hands to it, and they went through the ball and right into the head of Promise Isaac. Again, 2 players just trying to make a play.
I wouldn't be surprised if neither men are given a chance to continue.
Good to see Isaac back on his feet. Hopefully Castro will soon join him there.
Again, Castro got the start. Trey Muse is on the bench, ready to go if needed.
Castro, just his 2nd start of the season, has played very well.
And again, Happy ready to come in at any time. Trey Muse just in case. 11 starts this year. As he is with, again, the team's athletic trainer, Sheila Tatsunami.
You can tell Castro trying to walk it off the best he can, but shaky legs after the huge collision between Jacob Castro and Promise Isaac. Guadarrama played it in both, and it was a head-to-head collision between the two.
They can sub a goal in the rim, but he can't play again if they do. So that's the thing. Somebody gets hurt.
We're likely less than a minute until that whistle sends both teams to the locker rooms for the half. Again, a head-to-head collision.
Coming on, number 67, Jacob Castro. Coming on to the pitch, number 1.
And it is, in fact, the young man who turns 20 next month, the pride of Louisville, Trey Muse. Let's check back in with Austin.
Lincoln, we saw him very wobbly getting off the field, and the main concern is obviously a concussion, but he's holding his head, and he already has a huge knot on the right side, right above his eye. It's swelling big, really fast, so that's also another concern that they're dealing with right now.
Again, both men full speed, both pursuing the ball. Trey Muse, first time off the bench this year, his 12th appearance though overall. If they were to have an everyday keeper, this is the one. On loan from the Major League side in Seattle. Former Hoosier at Indiana. That will send us to halftime. The opening strike from Justin Dillon gives Tacoma the lead as they look for their first victory away from the state of Washington this USL Championship campaign.
Nevada, or a meeting between 2 of the best in the West. It's this week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer on a Tuesday, June 18th at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN.
Trash? Oh, that's that. Yeah. Remember that's that video? Scott Sterling! The guy gets pounded in the goal. This is so funny, man. If you can hear the audio, it's even better. I keep putting this guy going, like crushed face. Scott Sterling! He's like, they keep putting him in a goal. This is the best video ever. You okay? These guys just miss it. This team doesn't even come close to making a goal. This is
Halftime here at Bold Stadium. First meeting of the year between Austin and the Bold, as tonight's presentation brought to you by Ascension Seton, the official medical provider and sports medicine partner of your Austin Bold. By Courtyard by Marriott. Step up and your stay at the Courtyard Austin Pflugerville, where winners feel at home. And by H-E-B, the official grocery store of your Austin Bold. No store does more than H-E-B. Lone goal in that opening half belongs to the Defiance as we are midway through here in the state capital of Texas.
And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Del Seton Medical Center at the University of Texas for a very exciting announcement this morning, to where we're announcing that Ascension Seton is both the title sponsor and the medical provider for the new Austin Bold here in Texas. So we're very excited for that. So when the players, athletes, or families need care, we're going to be there and have the people available for you on the field. And you can rest assured that Ascension Seton and our affiliated physicians will be ready to serve. And so with that, I'd like to welcome up to the stage the owner of our new soccer team, the Austin Bold, Bobby Epstein.
You know, I was trying to think of a lot of the similarities, and there are a lot of similarities between Ascension Seton and the work they do, and the Austin Bold, and the work we try and do. With all the giving you do, we want to be meaningful too. And for that, and to show our commitment to this community, the Bold are going to give 5% of all their ticket sales to Dell Children's Hospital.
Coming to you from USL headquarters, this is Steal Some Time. Here's the USL's Kelsey Steele.
Let's hop into the West. Out of Week 14, the West was interesting this week. I want to start over in San Antonio and talk about this academy impact that's going on right now. For Gallegos, if you have not watched that goal, you need to go back into the highlights and watch that, because this is a 17-year-old kid who created that entire play. He made that run. He demanded to get the ball back. Barmy hit him up, and he, made that one touch around the defender, finished it off, and it was gorgeous. A 17-year-old looking like a 25-year-old. And
put the team on his back.
Put the team on his back. How about Phoenix's commitment to Dollar Beer Night?
Undefeated.
If you thought that we were going to go through the show today without mentioning Dollar Beer Night, you are severely mistaken.
Absolutely, and for good reason. I mean, holy cow, not only is Dollar Beer Night absolutely a thing, but the goals on goals, and Adam John, I will stand by this opinion. I will die on this hill. That should have been SportsCenter #1 out of the weekend. 60-yard ball over the top. Not even a touch. He just lofts it over the goalkeeper. I saw that and watched SportsCenter, and I was like, where is it? Okay, it's not number 3, it's not number 2, it's not number 1. I was about to just start tweet storming at SportsCenter on Twitter and just let them know, y'all got that wrong, man.
But elsewhere in USL Championship play, we had a few streaks end this weekend. Talking about over New Mexico and, unfortunately, Tampa Bay Rowdies. Their notable streak comes to an end.
I think if I'm the Rowdies, I have to see this at least as somewhat of a win. So follow me a little bit here.
Okay.
Lacroix. Now it's Musa. Oh, what a hit! Ryan Brown. Brown. Oh, that is electric from Phoenix on the break. Shot. Cross flag.
Presentations brought to you by Dell Children's Ascension, the official charity partner of Austin Bold FC. By Courtyard by Marriott. Step up your stay at the Courtyard Austin Pflugerville, where winners feel at home. And by HEB, the official grocery store of your Austin Bold. No store does more than HEB. Well, again, here, halftime in Austin, as the Bold trail Tacoma by 1 at the moment. How valuable would the 3 points be for the Bold if they could kind of find a comeback victory? As right now sitting on 19 points on the table, but such a tight race in the West.
A huge match for both of these teams. Certainly for Austin, just above that playoff line. And for Tacoma, winless on the road. Maybe this is the start of something if they can get a full 3 points tonight.
Remember that cutoff line last year was at 8, but with the league growing, so will the postseason this year. Well, again, it's another busy Saturday in the USL Championship. Some matches of interest for us, including the other Texas sides, as scoreless over there between the Switchbacks and RGV. Tulsa and El Paso see the Locos up by 1. Still early looking for that first goal between the Energy and SAFC. While later on tonight, something to look forward to, that rivalry on the four corners of Las Vegas and New Mexico. As for storylines, well, of course, 2 players kit added from FC Dallas this week. We heard about Sonny's involvement in the Bold as a whole, taking on a great cause here tonight as well, with, as Austin mentioned, some proceeds going to charities in the name of Down syndrome awareness as well. And of course, Chris Tierpak not available tonight, but he has really found his form as of late.
He really has. The local product has been outstanding the last few matches. You mentioned those 2 on loan from FC Dallas, and with Chumasi and Francis Satuaheni, you may well see them in the second half.
Difference right now, Tacoma with the lone goal from Justin Dillon, his 6th already this season.
The official grocery store of your Austin Bold.
Just a friendly reminder, fans, for every food and beverage item purchased this evening, Austin Bold will...
Both teams set to emerge from the locker room for the start of the second half. We take a look at the eventful first half, only ultimately, though, would bear a single goal.
Austin had some opportunities early. You see Sonny Guadarrama sitting a dangerous ball in, flicked on. Jacob Castro did a very good job, came up with all the saves asked of him. into the first half. But little by little, Tacoma Defiance was able to work their way back into it.
Yeah, we would see an opportunity for Promise one-on-one with Castro, but we would see several interventions ultimately from Ryan Strand on the back line. But that's when, again, Tacoma started knocking on the door, opportunities around the frame. We saw Gonzalez denied by the crossbar, but subsequently then, of course, a corner kick would be set up for Tacoma.
And that was indeed the goal. Justin Dillon in the 37th minute at the near post, able to head it in, got it by Restrepo. The lone goal in the first half. And the Defiance looking the better of the two sides, certainly in that final 20 minutes.
Now we take a look at the opening half stats, and when you look at that first half, Kit, in general, possession back and forth in this matchup. Obviously, the most important number will be that lone scoring strike.
It will indeed. You see possession in favor of Austin, 55-45. That was, well, Austin had the majority of the possession early on, maybe the first 15 or 20 minutes. That really flipped in the latter part of the first half, and we'll see how these two sides come out to start the second.
Take a look at the upcoming schedules. Mentioned that the Defiance will continue a road swing. Started in Colorado Springs, continues tonight, but they still have to go farther south here in Texas at RGV, then back in Utah against the Real Monarchs. They will finally return in front of their home crowd July 24th when Las Vegas comes to town.
They get 3 in a row against the Lights, OKC, Energy, and Orange County, all making the trip to the Pacific Northwest.
As for the Bold, of course, they'll be rotating home and away. They head south down to RGV, then back here to take on the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs.
Austin, 2 Copa Tejas matches, both on the road against RGV and then down in the Alamo City.
Bold are right now the only team with a victory in those standings for Copa Tejas. Could they claim the Opening Cup? They had 3 titles on their mind coming into the season. We know they won't be U.S. Open Cup champions, may still have 2 trophies within their sides. But right now, they're trying to find a comeback, perhaps an equalizer to get started here in the second half, as they trailed Tacoma 1-0. A reminder, U.S. Open Cup play will continue with a couple of USL Championship sides advancing, New Mexico United and St. Louis FC. And of course, later tonight, still plenty more USL Championship matchups to look forward to. Phoenix against OC, that same New Mexico side against the Lights, and then Reno against Los Dos.
And what a job for New Mexico United in their first year. Incredible stuff.
Certainly have seen the support there as well over in that AAA ballpark. Well, that is a, I hate myself for saying this, promising sign, as Austin does not appear to have to make a substitution for the start of the second half.
But Austin needs to find some energy. This, their 3rd match in 8 days, has been mentioned numerous times. They said it wasn't an issue, but hard to believe. Heavy legs from the home team. They're going to have to find something, because Tacoma, after finding their lone goal in the 37th, they will certainly be on the front foot looking for more.
Of course, the change in goal for Tacoma at the end of the first half after Jacob Castro and Isaac collided. It appeared close to temple, perhaps cheekbones. Trey Muse comes on now as your keeper for the second 45 of play. But no substitution apparently needed for Austin.
And very important for the home team to get off to a good start. The first 10, 15 minutes of this half will be critical for the Bold.
2 clubs switch ins. Neither team will have to compete with the setting sun here in the second half as we are under the lights. Fans, reminder, you can follow both the Bold as well as Defiance the rest of this USL Championship season on ESPN Plus. It's home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join over the 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week right here on ESPN Plus. You can sign up ESPNplus.com. Of course, we welcome in our audience in Austin as well on KBVO, using the old-fashioned rabbit ears to tune in.
They still work. Better here from Austin early in the second half. Able to knock it around.
Bold from the wing, right into the fingertips of Trey Muse, and that's how he's introduced to this match.
And that's big for Muse, who did not have to make a save. He was on the pitch for mere seconds at the end of the first half, and his first save, able to come up with it cleanly. Now Austin making a change at half. We mentioned one of those new additions, men on loan from FC Dallas. It'll be number 10, Francis Atua-Henney, coming on, taking the place of Sonny Guadarrama.
Sonny involved, of course, in the service game on those corner kicks. Again, Atua-Henney last year with some time in this league, 8 matches with OKC Energy on loan from FC Dallas, after they took him in the 2018 Super Draft in that first round.
Atua-Henney adds speed, and that is exactly what Austin lacked in the first half, pace.
Little stutter. But a second defender, too much to ask. Atua-Henney, a special moment, made his debut in MLS for the Sounders on his birthday, June 8th, against San Jose. He would come off the bench and score a goal on his birthday within the first 42 seconds of stepping on that pitch.
And that's an entry that every player dreams of having.
Again, it's not often your first-year head coach already has a great dynamic with many of the players on his roster. Chris Little has called many of his current players national champions, as they have gone up against international talent around the globe already in their young careers. Second half underway. Lincoln Rose, Kip McConico. Let's check in with Austin Ivan, who was able to check in with our managers at the midway break.
Thanks, Lincoln. Head coach for Tacoma, Chris Little, said he was pretty pleased with the way his team played in the first half. He said we had a lot of chances to get some goals. There was some times where it was unlucky and we didn't get the bounce we wanted, but we did get one goal, and we want to continue that this half. He said the main way we do that is patience with the ball. He said most of the time we've been very good being patient, but when we do have an opportunity, we want to go fast and try to attack.
Austin, thank you very much. Of course, Azrael Gonzalez in that crossbar, still not on speaking terms. Easily could have been the opener for Tacoma today.
And that was just one of numerous opportunities in the first half for Tacoma. And Coach Little indeed has to be pleased with what he saw. His side patient, but when opportunities presented themselves, they were able to take them. That shot off the woodwork, and then ultimately finding the lone goal of the first half.
That road victory last year, truly a monkey on the back for this club now out at Tacoma. They finally found it in the season finale. But again, we mentioned winless here on the road again this year with just one draw to show for the season. Could they find 3 points here in the live music capital of the world?
And what a difference that would make, not just in those road matches, but in the overall confidence level.
There's the crisp passes. Sarah Mooten finally able to intervene. Isaac, his first touch since he went head first looking for glory.
Austin doing a better job moving the ball quickly, not staying at one player's feet as long as it did in the first half.
A little less concerned this time around. Tripped up by Burke Gilroy. Well, of course, you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. You can search for the Bold or for the Defiance, and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on your club's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Well, you spotlighted, again, that 6'3" target for the Defiance and Dylan. And He's already paid off once in that first half. The difference right now.
Two great target forwards for both of these teams, and Justin Dillon and Andre Lima. They are similar styles, both big bodies, both play very well in the box, great with their head and back to goal, but it's Dillon who's found the lone goal.
See the breeze at the back of Muse. Once that sun goes down, a Texas summer evening can be pretty pleasant, especially when you're here in the hill country. Eyes up the pitch, looking for opportunities. Instead, it's straight on to Restrepo. Knocks it down, squeezes it in off the hop.
Another shot from outside the box. You see the Austin defenders hesitant to press out any further than the 18, and that's given Tacoma chances from long range.
As this will get away in touch.
You were going backwards, dude. Shut up.
Already 7 minutes elapsing here in this second half. Tacoma has played well with that advantage. We talk about how tight it is among the top 10, but even those just on the outside of the playoff picture right now, if Austin were to come away empty-handed tonight, could easily see several teams climb their way above that cutoff line.
The parity in the Western Conference from top to bottom, it is absolutely amazing how tight it is. If you're able to go on a run, win a few or lose a few in a row.
First look here at Duhenning. Former Michigan Wolverine. Cheremuden to his new teammate. Looking for Lima. Wisely does not elevate that foot any farther.
And as was the case in the first half, it's the Austin players waiting for the ball to come to them. Tacoma, they are moving towards the ball. You can guess who's going to get there first.
Again, the Bold come knocking from the right wing. This one playable. But initially headed to safety by Hopia. Lima from 19. Your equalizer sent wide, at least for now.
And that is what the Bold need. 1- and 2-touch passing, bang, bang. And Lima unable to make it boom. A beautiful effort just off frame. And you look how quickly this ball moves. Good ball sent out of the back. 1, 2, Lima. It would have been in had it not been for the great save from Muse.
Muse has stopped 57% of the shots on frame. That time a perfect 1-for-1. How about this look for Austin? Kleber.
We mentioned one of the keys for Austin in the open, quick passes. When they do that, they are just a different team.
The average goal this year for Austin could be framed.
You look at the players they have, the caliber, guys like Javi Baez, longtime Chivas of Guadalajara man. We mentioned all the resumes, the levels that these guys have played at. They have the touch. The legs, maybe not tonight.
Atuahene trying to make an impact in his first night with the Bold.
And this is better from Austin, having Lima as the target man. Out in the first half, he was outside the box playing the distributor. They want him right at the top of that 6.
As Atencio sends it back to Muse. Trey Muse now over 1,000 minutes in that frame this year. 27 goals allowed, 37 saves, including a big one here tonight. Just one shutout from Muse. Could he combine on one with Castro, who got the start tonight? If they do, it's a full 3 points headed back to Tacoma.
Better from Austin the last few minutes, more sustained possession, able to find the opportunities, and you can see Tacoma, as a result, they want to get back with it, slow things down a bit. They know a team like Austin wants to have the ball at their feet.
Again, brand new venue here at Bold Stadium. New Mexico recently walked off this pitch victorious. In the postgame interview, one of the first things out of their mouth was complimenting the opportunity to play in a stadium like this. Of course, they play at a converted baseball ballpark. These athletes certainly appreciate the opportunity to be in a soccer-specific stadium. Brand new surface. Right now, being tested by the Texas Heat.
And that's been a sentiment felt by many visiting teams here to Bold Stadium. They've been quite impressed and complimentary of this facility, of the pitch itself. Certainly, I think, easier for New Mexico United to be complimentary with the result.
They are the only side to come to town and leave with 3 points. Before that, Austin had been unbeaten at home. Tacoma trying to take another 3 out of Texas.
Bold team takes great pride in their home record. They're going to have to battle back.
As Atuahene will be called for the foul with the push.
Yeah, easy call there, the new addition, more of a stiff arm.
It's football, right?
May be able to get away with that in October.
Both these teams looking for deep October runs. Sarah Mooten, the American from New Jersey, raised in Russia.
Wide open. Look at Phillips over here.
Lima up to Promise. Isaac again denied. This time a different man in frame for Tacoma, staring down Promise.
Muse read it perfectly. He saw where the ball was going to be played and was just able to beat Promise Isaac to the spot. Good ball from Kleber. A foot race to it. And the man in red first there.
Second time he has really had it isolated 1v1. Not factoring in the collision that removed Castro from this match. Baez almost takes a hop over Muse.
Why did you stop running, man? 6-year-old.
One of the closest shaves Trey Muse has had in his 19 years on this planet.
He's come up with some big saves, and that one almost got by him. A routine save. He had the post covered. This is what you want to see if you're an Austin fan. Getting more numbers up the pitch, getting more involvement. Patient. They didn't see an opening. They elected to play it back.
Again, we see Trey Muse in goal with Jacob Castro pulled for injury right before the half. We'll get an update in just a moment. Lima could not direct it. Kleber off his left boot and own goal. And Joel Rydstrand wishing he could have been anywhere else.
And a classy move from Kleber, no celebration. He knew it was an own goal. The Brazilian who scored massive goals in huge arenas across the world. He was very happy that that will be the equalizer, but it did not come off his boot. Lima couldn't control it, sent out right to the Gladiator. Rydstrand, the man who sent it to him, it comes off the inside of his leg and past his goalkeeper.
Two unique moments there where Rydstrand had a touch, and he would have loved to take either one back. Well, again, to mention an update on Jacob Castro, let's check in with Austin Ivan.
Thanks, Lincoln. Yeah, we saw Jacob Castro walk off really hobbly, and I said he did have a big bruise and was swollen on his right eye, but talking with the training staff, their main concern is concussion. That's what they're dealing with right now, and they're going to do the concussion protocol and figure out more after the game.
Austin, thank you. Obviously, all that understandable, including just a precaution. A little surprised that Isaac was not also similarly affected. As you see another change here, as Burt Gilroy, another starter, off for Tacoma.
It'll be Danny Robles coming on to take his spot.
Substitution made for the Tacoma Defiance.
10th appearance on the year for Robles. Rookie made his debut, or pardon me, second-year man made his rookie debut last year in September for this side. Another one of the young men benefiting from that short-term contract this week to represent the Sounders against Portland. So 2 substitutions already used up for Tacoma. And right now they just have 10 men on their feet. So Bold no longer trail. Can they find their first lead at home tonight? And that'll be just over the head of the 99 in the teal and gold. And now they'll address again the concern for Tacoma back at midfield. Only one substitution left, and that's a man who's been terrorizing Diego Restrepo and the Austin Gold, despite not having a goal to show for it.
That would be a massive loss. Gonzalez, one of the better players tonight for the Defiance. He was the trigger man in the first half, the most dangerous offensively. He had the chances. Ultimately, Dillon came away with the opener. Gonzalez is going to try to continue.
Gonzalez has been with the franchise since before he could legally drive. .50-50 ball. And a friendly pass to Restrepo. Those Toros with the lead. Colliding with the Colorado Springs side that knocked off Tacoma in the Rocky Mountain State last weekend.
This match starting to open up a bit after Austin found the equalizer off the own goal. Both teams
looking for Lima.
Finding pockets of space that were not available early in the match. Lima, he's the target man yet again. He's got some great service. He's just been able to redirect it on frame.
Hopiel. The run coming from Ulysses. And the Hawaiian will give it away.
You're offside, and you turned the wrong way.
The fresh legs. What does Francis have in mind? From 25, the chip. Well read by Trey Muse.
Again, looking for Andre Lima, but the easier ball was to the overlapping run. Had Sion McFarland running down the touchline with him and could have just played that one into space. McFarland may well have had a better opportunity as he had elected to play it in.
Kick it in, the goal!
And we'll point out that right now Kleber is credited with the goal that has leveled this one.
I'll be interested to see if that stays the result upon further review.
That's certainly something you can think about after the match. Right now, all they care about is they are level 1 apiece.
Yeah, either way, I don't think either of these teams particularly care about who scored it at this point. It's the fact that it is 1-1.
Popcorn, cotton candy, game ball, whatever you want.
One-stop shop.
As Josue Soto finally healthy, we've seen him on that back line, and he'll come off the bench here. Second sub for Serrano.
Soto to take the place of DeMar Phillips.
Flag comes up. And of course, we'll clarify this Josue Soto, former standout for Cal Baptist, comes over from Liga MX. Of course, another Josue Soto with FC Dallas ties that we've seen around the MLS as well as the NASL. Well, certainly they would love to have Dylan touching that ball about 30 yards farther up.
Hobial was making a run to the top of the box. They just couldn't get it through to him.
Soto. Josue's 5th appearance this year, limited early by a knee injury, and promised understandably a little hesitant when he sees the opposing keeper coming at him.
Muse quickly off his line and just out of the box. Covers a lot of ground.
Bring it in.
And that is McFarland. As play halted for the moment.
Like what Atuahene has brought to this Bold side coming off the bench. Certainly has speed, and that's been on display. Like him to have more opportunities. This time he gives it away. And the collision between McFarland there and Hines.
Boots right to the ankle.
One of the few times Hines has not been on the receiving end of the collision tonight.
Imagine he's been called Sean a few times in his life. Sion McFarland out of Kingston, Jamaica. Played his college soccer in Florida, both at FIU and St. Leo. Division I and Division II sides in the NCAA. Can Gonzalez help reclaim a lead for Tacoma? This is a live ball, no whistle, but Defiance gave up on it.
Dylan thought he was in an offside position, may well have been, and elected not to make a run.
Even numbers. But nothing on that one from Dylan.
Bit of a lull the last few minutes from both sides. You wonder if either can find another level, come away with that go-ahead goal.
All right, Soto, do something, buddy. You got
Soto, one of 2 subs this half for Austin.
taking the shoes off. Saying, watch out. Eustace is coming for you. Look at that. Look at that.
And no need for Muse to intervene that time.
Look, right to center.
Baez, who's had some of the better passes in the first quarter of this season.
All the way back.
A quick name to learn.
Baez undoubtedly the workhorse for Austin Bold.
You liar! You big baby! You big baby!
Get up!
Oh, great tackle there to win it away just when it looked like Isaac was going to be in.
And now the whistle. Again, Kleber was matched up with Robles, and Robles believes he took an arm to the kisser.
What number is he? 34? That little man?
Danny, homegrown out of the state of Washington.
Dude, stop acting like you got hit. We know you did.
We'll see that left arm, a little slap to the cheek.
Hey, man, you're supposed to kick it downfield, be a sportsman.
You mentioned Andre Lima can ill afford to get another yellow, and he would be well served to walk away from our referee. I don't know if there's anything he can say here that will benefit either him or his team.
Now the gesture we only see in this sport.
Like a punk. Dude, that's so cool. Like when you got a BS. Like
Restrepo was trying to reclaim all that real estate on a single kick, and another substitution here, as Marcelo Serrano will use his third and final look, as he will dial up your other man on loan from FC Dallas in Chumasi.
Chumasi, we mentioned the other loanee from FC Dallas. He saw his teammate come on just a few minutes ago. Now he will join him on the pitch in place of Promise Isaac.
Again on loan, as announced this week from FC Dallas.
FC Dallas trying to get some playing time for the young, talented duo.
They head south this season on the loan. Last year headed north to OKC.
Did you run the entire halftime or something, dude? Come on. Were you on the exercise bike?
Soto. And numbers add up for the Bold.
What a tackle from Josue Soto.
That's what the Bold were hoping to have on day one of this inaugural campaign on their back line. Josue Soto recovering from that knee injury, starting to really come along.
Get back. Don't worry about him, he ain't gonna do anything.
Chumasi, a little too eager, was almost a mile offside, desperate for a ball his way.
There you go. Good. Rotate.
And this is a different looking Bold side here now in the second half in a level matchup.
That is indeed moving the ball quicker. They have more speed on the pitch.
Man, give him some help.
A great takeaway there on the far touchline.
Different looking Bold, same old Alex Burkholz.
Burkholz has done a great job. He made that takeaway on the far sideline previous to the foul. And here, the foul, McFarland ruled to have committed it. That's close.
That got laid down, man. You can't do that. That's crap, dude. That's crap.
We're told we're not allowed to poll the audience. Very impartial crowd, I would assume. Can Tacoma reclaim a lead? They've had few opportunities. Chumasi looking to make an impact in his debut.
Just a touch too much, too many, I should say, from Chumasi. Should have laid it off to a teammate or pulled the trigger earlier.
I like the sportsmanship.
This ball will stay with Tacoma. And your final change coming up, perhaps for Coach Little, or do we have another hydration break? It will be our second water break of this matchup. And it'll come in the 76th minute. Tacoma had that 1-0 lead entering the second half. Kleber forced the issue, able to find a ball glancing off of Ridestrand, which would be redirected into the back of the net past your substitution at keeper tonight, Trey Muse. Nothing Muse could have done about it at that point. Speaking of goalkeepers, a pretty good one. Chatting with head coach Marcelo Serrano and Ryan Thompson.
A fantastic goalkeeper, another former Jamaican international, director of goalkeeping for Austin Bold FC. Offensively, Austin has gotten back in it. They found the equalizer, but seemingly a lack of ideas. They continue to play that ball over the top, looking for Lima, is yet to be able to get onto it.
You see some of the newest names on the backs of those kits. Austin has made all 3 of its available substitutions. We already knew Chris Tierpak would not be among the super subs tonight. Not made available for this evening after a hat trick and more recently a goal in the Open Cup as well. All that came within 2 halves of play.
We had that hat trick coming off the bench, 3 goals in 30 minutes. That's a pretty good ratio.
Give me Sonny Guadarrama's height with that wig. It's turned into a great evening for soccer. Comfortable outside. You mentioned, regardless of where your seat is, a lot of fans make their way over to the concessions and into the park over there, where they have a great vantage point of all the action.
And there's not a bad seat in the house here at Bold Stadium.
As you see the final change for Mr. Little, as Alec Diaz will come on for Hopiel. Diaz, who also made his debut last September, another Washington native, and was part of that national championship U17 side with Seattle and Chris Little. Can he make an impact here inside the final 15 and some insurance for those Toros down south?
Able to find that insurance goal, just about 10 minutes remaining.
Of course, Switchbacks have had their own struggles outside of their win against Tacoma at home. Bold looking for their first lead of the night after trailing for much of this matchup. Settles with Soto. Something's in the water with the other Texas sides.
Bold fans hoping Austin can follow suit. Still plenty of time remaining to try to find the winner.
I'm guessing we won't see a clean sheet, however.
I think that's safe to say.
Just a feeling. That second goal at the expense of Trey Muse in Tacoma here in the second half. Sarah Mooten able to spin out of harm's way and continue the effort forward. One whiff and then one in best interest, ball sent into touch. Bold will settle for this opportunity, simply a throw.
One FC Dallas Loney looking for the other.
Soto, don't screw it up.
Soto, the defender, pushed forward.
Hey, Lima.
As Muse able to elevate above the bar.
Go sit down. Standing behind a goalie, that's what you got left in you, isn't it? That's what you got. Oh,
Andre
God,
Lima playing the role of understudy,
You're
perhaps.
such a baby, Lima.
Wanting to be a goalkeeper in his next life.
Goalie, so if he went to drop it, kick it, he's going to take it. And he didn't do anything.
And just like that, Josue Soto is back on the defensive end.
There you go.
Speaking of Texas teams, up 2-0. That makes 3 of them with San Antonio up on OKC. Darren Powell's group. Tacoma looking to find the second goal. And the early minutes here off the bench for Alec Diaz.
Diaz knew he didn't have anything, patiently brings it back.
Kleber needs to be careful.
He does indeed. Foul committed. You saw the arm extended. His reaction, it's the descent that will see him in the book, not the foul itself, you've got to imagine. And luckily for him, the referee has not reached for this pocket.
Nope, just one of our 2 favorite aerosol cans in this sport.
That's ridiculous, man.
And you see it here, unable to win it back, a tough tackle. An easy call for our referee.
Looking to reclaim the lead.
Nice kick.
A lead they found off of a set piece, but not here.
Hey, kick it back towards the other way like that, too, yeah.
Inside the final 10 minutes, first ever matchup between Tacoma and Austin. And we've got our first caution as it's delivered to Jesse Daly. There had been a chat with the Australian earlier tonight.
You have to imagine that is for an accumulation, a few fouls, a few words. Daly, the result of all that ends up in the book.
Jesse in his second year with this side. Previously with those Queensland Lions back home. Just a touch heavy.
That's been the story tonight for Austin more often than not. The idea is there, the execution just off the mark.
Baez trying to direct traffic up ahead. And a goal kick.
Again, Hines there. Good work in that situation, not conceding the corner, wins the goal kick. One of the Defiance players who's been outstanding all match long.
Again, the former Hoosier sends this one back up to midfield. Oldest man on the pitch.
Soto! Yeah,
and a corner kick's going to be won here with the efforts of Chumasi.
Exactly what you want to see with the young forward. Ball in space, running at defenders, wins the corner. You see his speed and power. This is a set piece that Austin has to take advantage of. Not too many chances. The little time there is remaining.
Josh Atencio, the man able to intervene. Baez. Don't know that Tacoma was ever really organized. They just had bodies in the area. And it was enough, at least for the moment.
That was a nice strike. He came it low. If he would have made it to that line.
Austin was not winning the aerial pursuit on those many corner kicks in the first half, 5 of them. They go lower that time, hoping to find someone's talented foot.
If this result holds, even though it was Tacoma who took the early lead, it'll be Austin who's sorely disappointed.
Tomasi slams on the brakes. Looking for Lima.
You are freaking ridiculous, dude.
Well, the defender able to out-physical Andre.
Do something, man. Well, somebody shorts down or something. Ridiculous.
Conversely, Trey Muse would prefer to hear us talk about Diego Restrepo a bit more often. As Muse has been on camera a little too much here in the second half. And finally the flag is up for offside.
Said it before, but it has been a very well organized back line for Tacoma. Everyone on the same page, moving as a unit. And it is feast or famine when you're in that situation. That time able to draw the man off.
Tacoma closing in on at least its second road point of the year. Again, they played Los Dos to a 2-2 draw. And trying to play the role of peacemaker. The man in the middle, Matthew Thompson. Daly's already sitting on a yellow.
Restrepo doing the smart thing over trying to settle down his right back. You see the veteran goalkeeper Restrepo says right now the most important thing is time, and there out comes the red, Daly. So Austin will have a man advantage, Gonzalez rather, sees the straight red. And either way, Austin up a man for the remainder of this match.
Mind you, all those substitutions here in the second half will add up to extra time. Azriel Gonzalez could have easily been a hero tonight if it weren't a matter of inches denying him a goal in that first half. Instead, we'll have to tune into the broadcast the rest of the way.
2 shots from outside the box, one saved by Diego Restrepo. The other came off the crossbar, but he will have to watch the rest from the locker room.
Restrepo was eager for this match to continue. He believes the Bold can find a late lead.
Oh, he was doing the smart thing. He knows how little time is left, every second precious. Just wanted to get play restarted.
And yet all those opportunities, no goal for Austin. Could Tacoma find a successful counter and run away with the full 3 points? That ball finally comes back down to earth. And again, your hero on that win was Alex Burkholz. So consistent tonight. So another minute here in the scheduled 90. And a little bird has told me we are expecting at least 4 minutes of stoppage time.
You would expect 4 at the very minimum.
Come on, Baez, do something, man.
Javi inside the 18.
You need to control that, dude. Control that.
Still Austin possession. Justin Dillon with that first half goal gave Tacoma their lead. Austin playing from behind much of this match, including coming into the second half, and that's a clear tug down. And a yellow card comes out to Baez, hard to argue.
And Javi Baez knew that that was going to be the result. That was a tactical foul. He saw green grass in front of the Defiance man and calculated that he had to make the foul and did.
Mr. Asadi confirms 4 more minutes of this matchup at least.
A professional foul from Javi Baez in that situation.
Again, the Bold coming off a draw here at home against one of the better sides in the West, T2. After going on the road to Tulsa for a victory. Of course, Austin stepped outside of league competition to take on MLS Houston. The Dynamo able to hang on for a 3-2 victory on Wednesday.
Even though Baez committed that foul because he thought that may have been an opportunity for Dylan, the Defiance were able to take almost a minute off the clock before they put the ball back into play.
Ulysses, the 20-year-old Haitian, with the throw here. And just unable to connect with Justin Dillon, who tries to comfort Ulysses. Rare chance to confirm that Diego Restrepo is still here.
Has not seen much of the ball in the second half, but Austin have not been able to turn that possession into the go-ahead goal.
Oh, he was, come on, Rep.
As Trey Muse not leaving anything to chance.
In the box.
He's been much busier than his counterpart, but he's been up to the task. Had to come on in the final seconds of the first half for an injured Jacob Castro.
Handball. And, like, all three kicks, handball.
Flag is up. Former national champion with the University of Virginia. One of his few early stops outside of the state of Florida, where went to the IMG Academy in Bradenton. We saw him as a striker and a rowdy during the NASL days. Of course, split time growing up, Colombia and Venezuela.
Played professionally in both countries.
Give him Soto, come on, man. You got the whole side of the field, dude. Come on, y'all.
Still at least a minute to look forward to here. And a miscue will surrender this back over to Tacoma.
At least you throw the flag out on your way by.
Tacoma, I think they will be more than happy to come away with a point if that is indeed the result. Austin, as good as they've been at home, chances in the second half they have not been able to capitalize on.
How will the final moments unfold here? Bold came into tonight among the top 10 teams in the West, looking to improve their playoff standing.
Corner to Jacob. Everybody down.
Corner kick coming up for Austin. This has not produced many promising looks for the Bold tonight. Will this one be different? Jamasi. Bold still on the attack.
You better slam that thing back in there. There you go, there you go. He's holding him. Come on, get it in there. Whole time.
And there are those longtime teammates trying to unite for some heroics late. And that your final whistle. First ever clash between the Bold and Defiance will end in a draw. 1 point apiece for Tacoma, just their second road point on this campaign.
They have to be very pleased with the result, able to get the draw. A good match from Tacoma. Austin, disappointment from the home team.
We'll come back and hear from our participants as the Bold able to pull even with the Defiance for the draw.
fans, just a friendly reminder. We ask that you please clear the field as it does need to be available for tonight's scrimmage. Again, for all non-bowl personnel, please clear the field. Thank you. Home match is Saturday, June 29th.
Kleber able to force the issue in the second half as the Bold finding a goal to pull even with Tacoma. We would remain locked at 1 the rest of the way. Lincoln Rose, Kip McConaughey with you as 1 point apiece here tonight in Austin.
It was back and forth. Tacoma able to weather the early storm. They struck first. Austin, don't know if it was the heavy legs, this being their third match in a span of 8 days, but give Tacoma a ton of credit. They played a very good match, and they were able to come away with the draw.
Well, we talked about him so little in the second half. Austin Ivan's going to have a chance to talk to Diego Restrepo. Let's check in with those two on the pitch.
Diego, the match ended in a draw. You might not be able to tell by the score, but the second half you seemed to be more in control. What was the difference in the way your team played in the first half versus the second?
No, obviously we went into the locker room and we talk as a team. We need to do better. We need to do better last 2 games. We let teams come here and get points from us, and we can't allow that.
Tacoma had a few shots that looked like it was about to be a goal, but you ended up with 3 saves. How were you able to do that?
No, just it's what we do. You know, it's the game. Just trying to do my job, helping the team out. But like I said, we can't allow what happened tonight. We need to respect our house and we need to come more prepared from the first minute.
It was the third match in 8 days. How much did legs and fatigue play a factor in the way you guys played tonight?
Oh, there's a big factor. Obviously, it was 90-something degrees when the game started. We just played Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, so it's gonna affect us. But at the end of the day, we have to be prepared. We have to take care of our bodies and move forward.
Thank you, Diego. Lincoln, I'll send it back to you.
Austin, thank you very much. Great to hear from Diego as we take a look at the final numbers.
Possession well in favor of Austin, and that is the way they like it, but the shots and shots on goal, that is the difference. You look at the shots on target, just 4 out of the 11 shots for Austin. Conversely, 6 shots for Tacoma, 4 of them were on frame.
Well, of course, Austin, again, their next match is going to be in the Valley against RGV to continue Copa Tejas. The Bold are still your only unbeaten team in Copa Tejas. After that, they'll have a road trip to San Antonio as well. They don't leave the state of Texas until mid-July. But 1 point will leave Texas tonight as Tacoma heads home with the 1-1 draw. For Kip McConaughey, Austin Ivan, our entire crew here in the capital city. Again, this one after 90, 1-1, Bold and Defiance. Their rematch in the season finale in October.